Culture fit, culture add. Let's talk about how you assess candidates against your company's values.
I think it's really important to have search discipline so that going out, we've agreed on the set of competencies that we're hiring for and making sure that we're going out and aligning on those competencies instead of getting a rough assessment of whether this person is right for the role or is a good culture fit.
What does that mean to actually prepare folks to interview and ensure that they're really focused on whatever the task is at hand?
So when we start a search, we do a discovery session with the hiring manager, and we sit down to talk about what are the key things that we're trying to achieve here. And then out of that comes a set of competencies. Everybody has a set of this information, and we assign to different people on the panel what competencies that they should be interviewing against. I think it does take a lot of ambiguity out of the equation because people have to come to the table and justify why they think this person isn't a good fit.
We have a very similar approach in our panels. We prepare everyone with the competencies prior, who's going to interview them what. However, I still find there is this bias, and people quickly articulate it is a culture fit or it isn't a culture fit. And I often have a hard time, even on the other interviewees on the panel, is really teasing out what did you mean by that and how did you uncover that? Was it truly through skills and competencies, or was it through a biased opinion you had of them for whatever reason based off personality or the feel they got when you walked in? And it's not just all about fitting with them as personality outside of the office, but it is a lot about how they work internally within the office. Are they an add, and is this a great addition to the team that maybe feels different than what everyone else feels like today? Because that could be the right culture add to the team versus just looking for like-minded people as a culture fit.
And Nick, from your point of view, you've been in many startups, many of which I think of like they had their own culture for sure.
Yeah.
How do you think about this?
You nailed it for me when you described culture fit as values. Values, like that feels the opposite of startup environments and startup culture. We don't describe culture fit or talk about culture fit at all in our panels, in our evaluation criteria. So me in a room with a candidate asking, what are your values? What's important for you to be true in the next company where you're going to work? And that leads to a pretty deep conversation typically. I want autonomy, I want responsibility, I want to work with a really strong team, I want growth opportunities, I want to be a part of something successful. Whatever might be important for them, those are their values. And then you can say, do we have alignment as both a company and as a team or an organization for this person?
I think aligning the right interviewer to the right questions also is important.
Yeah,
I always think that we don't necessarily want the exec to just talk about work. How do you live your life? How do you show up that's aligned with who we are? Do you really, champion our mission? Are you a good host? Do you engender a sense of belonging? So having a separate conversation around who the person is holistically, I find is another good signal.
I actually really love to try and direct it more back to values. They've applied to your company for a reason. Like, what do they love about your brand or who you are? Like, that's a great opener and really hopefully taps into their values of why you're here today. Oh, well, you're a high growth company and I want to win with you, or this brand meant something to me since I was a child and here's why I want to come to work today.
When I ask this question to my panels, I ask, what will this person add to the team? How does the team get stronger by adding this person to the team? I want to see something objective, and that what I'm really asking is how does the culture of the team improve? But I'm not asking in a way where they're like, oh, well, I'd really enjoy spending my time with them.
Understanding what your company values and then assessing against those things is going to be important regardless, and no matter what the situation, no matter who the candidate, that is the glue that keeps people connected in organizations. And at the same time, hiring people that may be different does not translate into someone who is not a culture fit or not a culture add. In fact, they could be the opposite. They could be advancing your company in ways that you never thought about before. So the more conscious and aware we can be of what it is that our companies value, and making sure that our interview and assessment process is focused on those things in a structured way that people are prepared ahead of time, the better the outcomes will be.